following program comes from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, songwriter, 15-year WWE host Lilian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania. And the first to launch her own podcast, which gives you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes and extraordinary entertainers. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lilian Garcia.
Hey guys, welcome to Chasing Glory. This is where we hear the stories of everyone's chase for glory and what they have gone through in their lives. And last week's episode with Sting was extremely fascinating. Sting, thank you. Everybody enjoyed it. How do I know that? Because you guys let me know all about that in all your comments. I appreciate it. Everywhere you guys are sending me comments, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, following me at Lilian Garcia, and also Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram and Lilian Garcia official fan page on Facebook. Everywhere you guys are letting me know how much you are loving these episodes, and I love you for it. I'm trying to do my best here in bringing you incredible, incredible stories, and someone today that I absolutely adore and even got closer to her even after the interview. Hearing her and her stories, it was pretty fascinating. Sir Renee Young is my guest today. So thank you, Renee. We're going to hear your story here shortly. But first, I want to share something with you guys because, part of this is I'm learning, right, is sharing some of the struggles that we go through in life. And as you guys know, I went through the struggle of my dad being sick and then losing my dad and then mom relocating her from South Carolina. And now, thank God, everything's going really well with mom and she's settling in. But it was hard. It was a transition for her. Imagine after all those years, you have to now kind of just reroute yourself when you thought you were just going to be settling in for the rest of your life. But she's taking it like a trooper. And she's experiencing different things and being open. She's going to the senior center twice a week. She's getting to meet different people. So proud of her. But in that, I thought that in that whole time, I kind of lost my voice. And when I say that, I don't mean like my physical speaking voice, but as much as my singing voice. And that it was really a struggle and I was always hoarse. And I didn't quite understand. And people were thinking maybe it was the stress of that. And so when I'm finding out now, I had to share with you guys of what I'm finding out so that if somebody out there is experiencing the same thing, maybe a light bulb will go off and my story will help yours. And that is, I was in that time that I was taking care of them. They were living with me. And as I said, my voice was going. And so I was getting a more and more medication to try to help because I thought it was allergy related. I thought that by taking extra allergy medication, I was on 2 inhalers a day, twice a day, a lot of allergy medication. So it was about 7 medications that I was on. And I didn't feel like it was normal, but at the same time, I was like, well, if this is what I need to do because maybe the resistance of my body is down due to the stress, then this is what I'm going to have to do. Well, you guys remember that I told you that I went to Thailand in April and we didn't come back for about a month. And let's just say that while I was in Thailand, I was able to get off my medication. And I thought, wow, okay, the air over here is a whole lot better. So here I am thinking it's the air, right? So I come home and my husband and we sleep in our home. And the next day we wake up completely congested all over again. And now both of us like, wait, what is going on? Which that sent a light bulb off in me because years ago I had already been exposed to a house for 2.5 years that had high levels of mold. And I got what you call mold poisoning. I'm on a mold-free diet. Because my body cannot tolerate mold anymore, it thinks that mold's invading and there are certain properties in food that have mold. Okay, so I thought about that and I went, let's just get the place tested for mold. We did, and it came back that we had 3 times the level of mold inside our home versus outside. That's not good. So we immediately evacuated, And it took them 80 days, almost 3 months, to clean the mold in our place. They took down walls. They were trying to find certain things, retesting. Certain things would show up again. So then they'd take that wall. I mean, it was quite the process. Trying to take it as best as I can. You know, my husband and I, we played it cool, and we're like, you know, this is all happening for a reason, and we can either kick and scream through it or just look at the silver linings, which there were. So 80 days later, we moved back, and now we are still going through it. Now, I had gotten in that 80 days, I got completely off of those 7 medications. So now I'm back on a few of them, and this is not making me happy. So I found out from our mold guy to contact a different company. So I'm going through the Home Advisors, by the way. That's how I found the mold person. So if you guys are thinking that you might have mold in the house, you want to get it tested, just go to homeadvisors.com. You put in your zip code, you put in what you're looking for, and they will send you somebody. Anyway, this person now has told me a new process, a new person to come in. Just follow my story next week. I'll let you know what happens this week. But we're going to have somebody come in and test for like 76 more different items, including lead, because it could be that we have lead here. Isn't it crazy? You have to worry about the place that you live and what it has, but it is so important. And that's why I'm talking to you guys about this. In case some of you are, whether you're congested or you have no energy, you're tired all the time. Yeah, you can't, your respiratory is not right. You're constantly having colds or respiratory infections, bronchitis. I mean, things like this were what was happening to me. So if this is you, test your house. Test your house. Do not hesitate, because if you're breathing this in every single day, this isn't good. So we'll see what happens this week, and I'll keep you informed as to how this whole story ends. So hopefully it ends with me getting my voice again, because you know how much I love to sing. You know how much I love to use it, and yeah, I have to get it back. I do have a new single that's going to be dropping soon. Kind of recorded this. I'll tell you guys all about that story later. But anyway, all right. I want to thank my sponsor for the show, butcherbox.com/glory. It's going to bring you a lot of savings, guys, on foods or meats that are so organic. They're so good for you. As far as grass-fed, it's important. It's not only important what you breathe in, it's also important what you feed your body. Okay, we have one temple. Take care of it. So if you go to butcherbox.com/glory, you're going to get free bacon. You're going to get discounts on your order, and you're also going to get free shipping. So make sure you go there, and I'll tell you all about it in detail later on in the show. But for now, how about it? It is time for another episode of Chasing Glory. Make sure you rate, subscribe, and review the show. And at the end of the show, I'm going to be reading a latest review that I've picked to win a free t-shirt and also 8x10. And make sure that you keep going to Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram for our contest. We are now entering the second year of Chasing Glory. So thank you for celebrating the anniversary all last week with all the giveaways, and we'll continue all of that. But for now, it is Renee Young's journey of Chasing Glory. A Canadian native, Renee Jane Paquette knew she was destined for a career in front of the camera. After graduating high school, she would join Second City, starting her path into a career in comedy, even traveling to Los Angeles without performing a day in her life. After moving back to Toronto, she would start producing her own show, which eventually led to working for Score Television Network, where she would actually host a post show for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and her love for professional wrestling would return after being a huge fan growing up. Renee was able to show off her quirky side and comedy personality, and eventually caught the eye of the WWE as she joined the company in the fall of 2012, where she became known as Renee Young. She would begin to work in NXT as a backstage interviewer, but would rather quickly move up to Raw and SmackDown on a regular basis. She would begin doing commentary for NXT and Superstars, becoming the first female in over a decade to be a full-time commentator. In 2015, Renee would host her own show on WWE Network called Unfiltered, where she would interview many of her fellow WWE employees and also co-hosted the latest season of Tough Enough. Renee would join the cast of the 6th season of Total Divas, where she would let the viewers in on her personal side, and the audience was able to see an in-depth look at her marriage to WWE Superstar Dean Ambrose. Outside of wrestling, you can see Renee cheering on her new hometown team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, as well as hearing her every week on her charming podcast, Regular Girls. This maple leaf beauty continues to show the world that she's more than just a pretty funny blonde. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with Renee Young. All right, that's right. Right here on Chasing Glory, Renee Young.
Yay!
Finally making it happen.
Finally, I know. Every time I see you and you're sitting down with everybody doing these amazing in-depth interviews, which I'm a huge sucker for. I love watching shows like that. I love listening to shows like that. So it's fun for me to be on the other side.
Yes.
It's great.
I'm so glad to be this happening. And it's funny, guys, you have no idea what we just went through to try to set this thing up.
The trials and tribulations.
We're backstage, SmackDown, and we're in California. And sure enough, we couldn't find a place backstage that was quiet enough to do this.
Couldn't find a pot to piss in.
So we came outside. So the thing is, we're sitting under this beautiful tree, but it is, I don't know, what the heck? Is it sap? It can't be sap. It's not sticky.
I just looked at my phone cover and it has water all over it too. So I don't know. We're like being sprinkled with water out here,
but
without any. Yeah, it's very odd. Or maybe this is our demise. And guys, you heard it here first.
You guys will be able to.
The downfall of Lilian and Renee.
Yes, why
covered
don't you
in
write
this tree
us?
sap.
Maybe if you know what the heck is happening. Hey, look, it just went right in my eye. I looked up and it went right in my eye.
We're just under this random little tree, and there's water falling. I don't know.
It's nice and cool, though.
Is this some weird California deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
not sure. Well, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. It's a little gift from the universe trying to keep us cool out here.
Exactly.
On this hot day.
Yeah. Look, my phone has it as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Weird.
Okay.
Well, at least we know we weren't imagining it. For a second, I thought we were imagining it. We're not. It's true. It's a fact.
Yes. All right. So we're here, and it is time to get your story. You know what? I got to tell you something. You're somebody that came in, and I'm going to be right up front with you right now.
Did you know you hated me?
No, I didn't hate you. I didn't hate you.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't hate you. No. But I will say that I had that, and maybe, I don't know, I guess this is natural for people to usually this. I don't have this that flares up in me, but I literally had this like insecurity thing that came all over me.
What?
Yes.
Why?
I did.
No
all
way.
Of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God.
The Lilian Garcia?
Yeah. Am I being replaced? Oh my God. Like
No
all these
way.
things happened. I never told you.
That is so funny.
I know. So then I was like, you know why too? Because I saw you on screen. I'm like, she's really good. She's really good. Get her out of here.
There's nothing worse than when somebody shows up and they're actually good. You're like, damn it. I was coasting along here. Then you had to come and show up. Now I've got to be on my toes and refine my skills.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, is this like what the wrestlers feel like when a new wrestler comes in town, right? And they're like, wait, is this person getting my spot?
Totally.
Right? I better step it up.
It's so funny when you see that, because I mean, I've felt like that so many times. I'm like, oh wait, what? Am I not booked on this thing? Or like, I mean, I just think that this industry, entertainment in general, breeds that natural insecurity. But I also think like, as women in entertainment or just in life, it's always like, oh my God, is this person better than me? Are they stronger than me? Are they better than me? Everyone always feels that natural reaction to want to compare, which it's stupid. I mean, also you and I have such different jobs.
Such
Our
different jobs.
So different.
I know. And the more I got to know you, the more I was like, oh, she's so cool. I like her. She's good. Let me help her.
Yeah, and I mean, yes. I mean, thank God. I mean, you're definitely, when I first came in here, and I was not sure what my job was going to be when I started here. I just knew that I was coming to work for WWE, and I used to have a show back in Canada that I was doing, so I figured it would be something similar to that, and it wasn't. And now I feel like I'm so much more ingrained in the actual product of WWE than being like I feel like now we've been able to bring in other people that kind of do what I do, like a Kathy Kelly or Peter Rosenberg or Sam Roberts, who all got to keep their own name.
Right.
But like,
they
yeah,
did.
but it's like, I feel like I've been like more like in the product of the show, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I had no idea what I was going to be doing here. And you were always so nice and helped me and kind of guided me along through things, because I had no idea
you know
the
that I
ins
was
and out of
like,
this.
oh my God, but is she going to
Maybe it was sabotage.
No, I would never do that.
I know
Never.
You wouldn't.
But I did have my insecurities flare up, man.
Damn.
And I was like, what is it? I hate, God almighty.
What a horrible feeling that is.
Horrible.
It is truly a terrible feeling.
Yeah, and my mom taught me a long time ago, jealousy is a really bad thing.
It's a dangerous game.
Put it away.
It's a very hard emotion to be in control of.
That's the thing. Because you can say that to yourself, but then you're like, but why is this, like, it was right.
Why do I keep looking at this person's Instagram account? Why am I following everything this person does? Yeah, it's such but jealousy is such a bizarre, like, envy, and anyway, even if it's just like a little shred of it, it can grow into this gigantic thing or take over something that was never really there.
Right.
Which is a great example of you and I when, like, I was not coming in to take anything from you.
I know, but nobody really, and I realize that too, like, nobody can really take anything from you, you know what I mean? Like, it's either your time or you're not, or it's life. You just do your best. Always do your best.
Never feels like that, though.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like,
I know.
How do I stay on top? Do I need to do more of this? Or do I need to start analyzing my stuff? And I feel like as soon as you start to really analyze yourself, that's when you get into even more trouble. When, sometimes it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and you got a good thing going on, but then, like, you get under that microscope and start being nitpicky with yourself, and that's a really dangerous game, too.
It is. And I know that you've gone through a lot already since you've been here.
Yeah.
Like, in the different roller coasters of do you commentate? Do you do do you do backstage interviews? Or you doing it all? Or trying to find your sound, trying to, all of this, and then dating Dean, right? And we'll get into all of that and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And, but tell me, first of all, your life. Well, you grew up in Toronto, Canada. Yeah.
I grew up in Toronto. Actually, I grew up in Ajax, Ontario, which is about 40 minutes outside of Toronto. But then, all of my, like, late teen adult life was in Toronto. I was out to LA a little bit just for a brief stint. But yeah, I mean, my biggest pull as soon as I got out of high school was just trying to figure out what exactly it was that I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to be a performer. I knew I wanted to entertain, but I was always drawn more to the likes of like a Gilda Radner and Carol Burnett, Tina Fey. Chelsea Handler was such a big one for me, and Sarah Silverman. I used to study their stuff all the time, from watching Chelsea Lately and watching the Sarah Silverman program. And I was like, trying to figure out how I wanted to navigate being a TV host, because it really wasn't something that had always spoke to me. I wanted to be an actress.
But before you even get there,
because we're going even before. How far back are we going?
I want to know who you are as a kid.
Oh, okay.
I really do, because a lot of things happen, right? In our childhood, like they are the primitive years.
Yeah, they really are.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a brother. I've got a brother that's 2 years older than me.
Okay.
We weren't really close growing up, but we're close now. Him and I are very different. So I was always like the loud, center of the room, spotlight.
Oh, you came out that way.
Big time. Yeah, I was such a ham. I loved having that attention. I loved saying things that would get a reaction out of people, whether it was something I shouldn't be saying or if it was something that was actually genuinely funny. I think that's where I got that knack of really wanting to do comedy. I loved that reaction that you can get out of people. But
do you know where you got that from?
I think I feel like I got it mostly. So my parents split when I was really young, and when I would spend time at my dad's house, we would watch a lot of SNL. We watched a lot of SCTV, and my dad works in entertainment as well. So I definitely had different instances of being around entertainment growing up and getting to see how this life works. So it was definitely not a shock to me when I started doing my own thing. I knew what I was getting into. I knew what I was asking for. But my dad's a concert promoter in Toronto, just to provide a little bit of context there. But he toured with bands the whole time when I was a kid, so he was on the road the whole time.
Did you miss that?
Did I miss him?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that, because I spent so much more time with my mom. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time with my mom. I was really, really close with my mom. yeah, I feel like that was like my main thing. I was like such a mom's daughter. I loved spending my time with her. My mom was like my hero. She was just such like a badass, strong woman that like, she took care of me and my brother, but she also like provided so much fun. Even if there was like weird stuff going on of like my parents separating, she got remarried and divorced, and the man that she was married to was nuts. He would like break into our house and like...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how old were you?
Gosh, then I was probably... God, I did not know we were going here. It's like flustering me a little bit.
Come on.
But this is what Lilian does.
There we go.
Everyone walks away saying they like start crying during their interview with you. I'm like, oh God. I was probably like 10 to 14 maybe with him when she was married to him.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and like, I mean, so he was a nice guy, and him and I got along, but you know when you're a kid and you can't tell if somebody's crazy or they're just really fun?
Yeah.
And he was that. But he was a paramedic, and he had access to people, I guess, if that makes sense, where like, my like 10th birthday, this is a weird story. He beat himself up in front of our house and called the cops and like said that my mom did it.
Oh,
and it
my
was like,
gosh.
it was a whole like bizarre, weird thing. But there was just like weird stuff like that. But my mom always did such a great job of like protecting us from that stuff and not letting us dwell on it. Like I never really look back, especially now as an adult, I don't look back at that and like feel weird about it or like that it true. I mean, I guess things like that affect you, and maybe I've just like pushed a lot of stuff like that down, but I feel like I was exposed to a lot of adult situations really early as a kid.
Very early.
Like he would, you know, ask me for like advice on like their relationship to like a 10-year-old kid, and I'm like,
God,
I don't know. I want you
Yeah.
to be with my mom, and I want everyone to be happy. And we moved a lot too, so we always kind of bounced around to different houses and different neighborhoods and different parts of town.
Did that affect you in a way where you like to move around or you need stability?
No, I like to move around.
Yeah.
I like, and I don't know if that's like a weird thing. It's funny because John and I, Dean, we talk about that sometimes about like moving to me is not a big deal. It's always like fun to go to a new place and check out a new neighborhood and find your new spots and whatnot. So that doesn't freak me out.
And what is he like?
He likes to be in one
Stability.
spot. He wants to be in the one spot, yeah. But yeah, and then so with my dad, it's not that I didn't miss him. I just never really knew him being there in that capacity when I was a kid. So it was actually almost weirder for me when he was there. Like when I was a kid, my mom actually thought that I was like really sick when I was a kid because he would come home and I would get a nervous stomach and I'd be really sick and I'd miss school, and it was like a weird stress thing.
You were scared.
I guess I was just scared. And he remarried as well to a really horrible woman that was kind of mean to me. So that, you know, I think that there was just so many different weird things like that of trying to like navigate those waters as a kid of like adult situations and trying to please people and trying to kind of fit in, and you don't want to rock the boat with anybody. But I also knew that if I could be charming and cute, that I might be able to get away with stuff or smooth things over. Or, you know, if my mom was ever upset, I would always like, I feel like I was like a pretty thoughtful child. Like she put together for Christmas for me a couple of years ago, like a scrapbook. And there was like a Valentine's Day card that I made for her that had like a breakfast menu of what to order her, but I also like wrote a note like, I'm so sorry that I made you mad. I'll clean the house and I'll do this and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That was just kind of like my way of like smoothing things over, or like trying to pick up slack that I knew that she maybe needed because she was on her own and she was working 2 jobs and she was doing all sorts of things. So I was trying to help pick up.
Mom working 2 jobs.
Yeah. Oh, my mom worked like crazy. Yeah, I mean, my mom's a bookkeeper, so she would bounce around doing all sorts of stuff trying to keep us alive and keep us afloat. But we never like went without. We never went without. We always had all of our school supplies, and if we needed lunch money, we would get it, even if it meant that she wasn't going to have those things. Like she always took care of us in that way. And so did my dad. It's not that my dad wasn't doing those things. He just wasn't with us as much growing up. Mm-hmm. But then when we were with him, it was the fun entertainment stuff. So it wasn't, it's not that it was bad. I feel like I was painting that in a bad light, but there was definitely
Well, it was
some
rocky.
stuff in there to unpack.
Yeah, it was rocky, and like you said, you had to grow up so fast.
I did, yeah.
And now I can totally get why you wanted to entertain, because it's like everything's so rocky and a little bit like heavy.
Yeah.
And you
want to make it
like,
light and fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be the light here.
I would always like, whenever I was going through those times of like feeling stressed out or nervous or not sure like what was going on with my mom, my dad, these extra marriages, etc., I would always think, I'm like, you know what? All these people are successful and great actors and comedians. They always have a great story. Everybody had this weird childhood, and I was like, maybe that's what this will be for me. And I'll be able to write about it someday. And it's funny because I haven't talked about any of that stuff in so long. So, I mean, those are just like little nuggets and little patches of things, just because I really do feel like I've pushed that aside and tried not to make it stuff that I dwell on because it's in the past and I had a good childhood. But everyone has messed up shit, you know? It is what it is. Nothing's normal, and I wouldn't trade it for a second.
Well, that's exactly what a lot of people are hearing, the fans, right? They hear the show and they go, oh my God, I never knew that this person went through this.
Totally.
Right? And I can totally identify. And it's also helped me because if they can go through this and get through it and become a superstar, then I can too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it gives people hope
that
they're not in a situation that none of us are in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've all been.
Everyone's gone through so much stuff. And like, I feel like it's the people that have like that perfect life. So I just don't think that that's even a thing. I don't think that it exists. And I think especially like, I mean, my parents split when I was like 4. So like even before the 90s, like 89, to think that they were splitting. And even then that wasn't as much of a thing. But now everyone's parents are divorced and everyone has, you know, different versions of their families, whether they're born into them or they chose them and whatever. You can kind of pick how you want to react to things.
In what ways though? Like I know that when I look at my childhood and things that happened to me, I can see how certain things have creeped into my adulthood.
Yes.
In what ways have that creeped into yours?
Well, I think I sometimes do struggle being, as much as when I was a kid, I wanted to have attention, but then there was times that I felt like it would affect me somewhat negatively, and I feel like sometimes when I do need to rise up and be in that center spotlight that I don't always question myself, or I want to like laugh my way through it, or I don't know, because sometimes when I would step into the spotlight and want to do stuff, I feel like there would be like backlash of like, oh, you just think you can get away with this because you're cute or you have this, and like I felt like that was like a negative toward me. So like I don't really like getting dressed up or getting like fancy attention from people like telling me that I like look pretty or something. Like that is a weird thing for me. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. I prefer to like play it down or something. Like there's something in there that like I always feel a little bit odd about. And I don't know. I think like the more I look at like the way that my parents were, like I have instances of both of them. Like my dad is far more level-headed than my mom. My mom can be a little bit sporadic and impulsive, and I can have that a little bit too. But I think I'm definitely a little bit more like level-headed. Like my dad, I try to think things through a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like there's stuff in there that I don't want to like say something and like put my mom or my dad in like a bad light. If that's, you know,
it's not. But you know what? They've done the best they can.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has their thing. And
totally.
Everyone's got their journey and their struggles and the heaviness, and you never know what they went through with their parents and then their parents. And parents are doing the best we all are doing the best
Everyone's doing the best that they can.
Even when we don't show up great, it's sometimes we go, you know, later on, sometimes we'll look at it and we'll go, damn it, why did I do that?
Totally, yes. If I ever have like a reaction where I want to like lash out and say something, like I can be pretty sharp-tongued sometimes, and that's something I need to keep in check every now and then, where like I can definitely have like a fiery attitude where like I don't take any shit from anybody. And that's something that I definitely got from my mom, where she like, my mom takes no prisoners when she goes down.
Yeah.
But that was something she taught me though. Like that was, you know, I think that was by design of like, don't ever let anybody push you around. Yeah. Take what you need to take. And like, you know, it's one thing to be, I think that's a big thing for me too, is I think everyone always just thinks that I'm very nice and polite, and like I think that's like the main thing that I lead with. But there's also this like don't F with me thing in the back as well.
Oh,
like,
and I've seen it when you've been upset and you've come,
yes,
you know, we've talked or whatever in the locker room, and you're like, I'm this, whatever, I'm frustrated and all. And it's good to have people that we can talk with each other because it is that way. It's funny because just a few episodes ago, I was actually a fan asked in the Q&A that I did, they said, is there anything that you've ever done that you wanted to apologize for or something? And I talked about how, sure enough, being Latina, right, grow up with that fiery thing, there'd be times with my husband or something that he would say something and I'd be like, oh, really?
Totally.
And, right? That side comes out. And
that is the worst. Oh. It's truly the worst. I hate that. I can get like that too because I feel like it's so funny the difference between I'll call him Dean on here for the sake of continuity of the podcast. Yeah. But he is so much calmer than I am. He's so calm. And I'm far more emotional. So yeah, sometimes I'll lash out and say something. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Bury that down. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. But he's very patient. But it's also hard because if your mom, like you said, you feel like she trained you by design to protect you, right? Yeah. But learning that as a kid too, you don't know what's the proper turning on, turning off. Yep. The volume on it, right? And then when is it too much? Yeah. When is it really protecting myself? Exactly. When's it necessary? Yeah. And at what degree? That's what I mean by what volume. Yes. Should I get it at? Do we need to be at 11 or do we need to be about a 2? Yeah. What do we need here? We need to go overboard. So usually I hit the 11. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll come in at an 8. Build it up. Get somewhere else. This all makes sense though. Why comedy is so important to you. And I've actually learned that a lot or heard that a lot from comedians. That a lot of it. They get into comedy as a way to also hide pain or cover, cover all of that. Yeah, I laugh over things all the time. I mean, it takes a lot for me to accept being upset. Where I feel like I'm always like, you're tougher than that. You can do better than that. You don't need to be upset right now. You don't deserve to be upset right now. There's bigger problems going on. You say that to somebody else or to yourself? I say that to myself. Uh-huh. Yeah, I say that to myself. So I feel like it's easier for me to laugh about things, or it's also easier for me to say something bad's going on between the two of us and somebody else. I want to make sure you're okay because I know that I can deal with my other stuff in another way. Rather, I feel like I want to protect other people before I protect myself. Oh, always. Which is not necessarily the best. It's good to care about other people, but you gotta it's not necessarily the best, but I think it's because I know that I can handle it. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm putting myself in a precarious situation where eventually it's going to come back and nip me in the bud. But I've also been telling myself that for years. So I'm like, it's fine, but I just keep burying it lower and lower. And one day, who knows? I'm hoping that one day it's going to be after this podcast. Damn it, Lilian! Unpacking all my childhood. I thought we were talking about WWE. We'll get there. But now you say you and your brother that weren't close. Did he just shy from you? It's not. No, it wasn't that. So my brother's a big music nerd. He was always on his computer doing his own thing. He liked to stay to himself. I also think more of our stuff from our childhood affected him more than it did me. Yeah. Where I had other outlets where I played sports all the time too. That was my life, was playing sports. So that was a big thing. And I think that was a thing too. Is I was kind of the jock sister. Yeah. I was good at the sports I was playing. I was loud and trying to hang out with him as friends, all that stuff. Yeah. But it wasn't. We were just different. We just kind of avoided each other for the most part. But with us only being 2 years apart, we had similar friends. Our friend groups would sometimes mix in together. But now, it's so funny seeing my brother and I. We're actually so much more similar now that we've gone through our teenage years, our adolescence, into being in our 20s to now being 32 and 35. Wait, is that right? Oh, he's 34. 35, I'm turning 33 in September. I got his birthday right instead of my own. But yeah, him and I are actually much more similar now. We've got similar music tastes. We have similar hobbies. So him and I meet in the middle so much more now. It's great. Yeah. Do you remember when you guys got to a point where you were close? If there's something that happened that got you guys closer, or just over time? I guess it was over time, and I think it was also maybe a bit of mutual respect between each other. My brother's pretty successful in the music industry now too, so he's really worked really hard to do his own thing. So I think it was seeing each other kind of stay afloat, make something of ourselves, and kind of get through that stuff. And also, we've bonded over stuff that's happened with our family. in the last little while. So I think that was definitely something as well where like we had to meet on a common ground when bad stuff happens, and you have to be there for each other and help each other out. And also it's funny because he is the only person in the world that understands what I went through.
I was just going to say.
He was the only person that was there.
My sister, you know, my dad passing and us going through that, and then taking care of mom, and, you know, having to put her in an assisted living place and all of that was so heavy.
Yeah.
And then we both said to each other, I mean, it brought us closer.
Yeah.
And we both said, man, where we would be without each other, we don't know.
Yeah.
And you get how it feels. Like when my dad passed, she knew
how you feel.
Feeling, right? We could hold each other and felt the pain of what that was like.
Yeah, it's so like I mean, as much as like I can talk to Dean about this stuff all day long, and he's a great ear. But if it's somebody that hasn't been there, and there's also stuff that like I think I'm more forgiving, that I'm willing to let stuff go, because parents are parents. It's their first time being a parent too. They're trying to figure shit out. So sorry, am I allowed to swear in here?
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. they're trying to figure life out. So I don't hold any grudges with that. But my brother does more. But he also occasionally reminds me of things. And I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Where I've really kind of cast all that stuff aside, or it's like a defense mechanism where I conveniently forget stuff.
But you've been able to help him through some things.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
certainly.
Cool.
Yeah.
And school, like lots of friends and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I always had lots of friends, but I always kind of like, I kept to like my main core group of like girlfriends I hung out with. But because I was playing sports so much, it was mostly girls that I played sports with that I stayed the closest with, that I still am close with.
That's cool.
Yeah, but also, as soon as I finished high school, like I'm not really friends with too many girls I went to high school with anymore. We stay in touch, and like follow each other on Instagram and stuff. Yeah. But as soon as I was done high school, I was ready to get out of town. I've always just wanted to work, and I've wanted to be active and try to like get out there and do stuff. So yeah, as soon as I was 18 and went, and I was doing my classes at Second City and kind of figuring out how to handle downtown Toronto, what my next move was going to be, what kind of class I need to take, auditions I could take. And then when I was 19, I went off to LA, and I think that was a big separation thing where I was just kind of gone.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What was that like?
It was cool. I'm glad that I did it, but it was, moving to LA at 19. It's 19 or 20.
Research says 19.
Yeah, I think it was 19. I just packed up one day, and I knew that I wanted to go. I knew I just wanted to kind of get out there. And I think it's like that stars in your eyes thing where that just seems like the natural thing. That's where you have to go to try to figure some stuff out. But I hadn't really worked as an entertainer. I'd only taken classes. I had taken acting classes and did the improv stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to go do this. But going there as a Canadian, I didn't have any work papers, so I couldn't get an agent. I couldn't get any meetings. And I also just didn't even know how to do that.
Right.
I had no idea what the steps were, what I needed. I was definitely like in over my head a little bit, but my mom came down with me. And she was helping me find a place to live. And I lived with this mom and her daughter. The daughter was on like Days of Our Lives and like some other TV shows. She's married to Robbie Williams now.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I lived with them for a little bit, and it was a good situation. I was living in a 90210 zip code.
Oh my God!
I was renting a room. To be completely honest, yeah, I was renting a room in their house that I could barely afford. Because I couldn't get a job because I was there illegally.
Yeah.
But I worked at this bar called the Mint. La Cienega and Pico, I think.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. Yeah, it's a cool little concert venue. The Farrelly brothers own it. So they were up in Toronto filming a movie, and the bar that I worked at in Toronto, they would come in there and their assistant, they're like, we can get you a job, cool. So I would just work the door and get paid some cash. But I definitely screwed that up a few times because it was dark. And I was used to Canadian money. Yeah. So I couldn't see the difference in what the bills were, and I lost a bunch of money a few nights. I know. I was like, your $5 bills aren't bright blue? What are you talking about?
That is crazy.
Yeah,
I know. You go to any other countries, and
me up.
They have different sizes. Yeah. They have different colors.
It's easier to tell.
Of course it is.
I'm at the front, like trying to scan people's tickets and see what band they're here to see.
So they're like, sorry, gotta go. Yeah. Go back to Canada.
You know what? They were actually great, and they let me stay. There was no issues there. But I think I hit the point when like I really wanted to work, and I felt like I was killing time being down there, not being able to get any traction, not having a visa or experience for that matter. So I was like, I got to go back home.
How long were you there?
Only about 6 months.
Okay.
I wasn't there very long.
Okay.
6 months, 9 months, under a year. But I also got really sick and didn't have health insurance. And I was like, this is it for me.
Yeah, in Canada,
this is it. I had this really horrible throat thing, and I was so bad. I called my mom crying. I was like, I got to come home. And she was so sad for me because she felt like not that I was giving up on it, but I was actually being smart about it, being like, I can't do anything here, so I got to go back home and get my shit together up there before I can come revisit this again. That's exactly what I did. It's like I got back up to Toronto. I got a new agent, and I was auditioning for stuff, and ultimately, just got a little bit frustrated with the things that I was auditioning for. The roles were just kind of whatever. You wait for an American production to come up to Canada and hope that you can get girl number 3 at the bar role, or try to get something through, CBC or a Hallmark movie that they're filming up in Canada. Hallmark, I still want a show with you, or a movie. Yeah, and then that's when I figured out that I wanted to kind of switch into hosting after that, because I really was getting frustrated, being like, okay, so if I want to do my own movie, or I want to do my own thing, I need to get a script, I need to get a director, you need all these moving parts. Yeah. Where if I just wanted to host something, I'm like, well, I can just have a camera and myself, and we can make something. Yeah. I can make something of this. But I went to, there was just random casting site things, and there was a casting to be a VJ, and I was like, hell yeah, I can be a VJ. That's perfect for me. So what I thought was a VJ. To be a bike girl and bike girl of the month. I was like, okay. So I show up to this audition thinking that that's what it was, and I get there and it's all these girls in bikinis, and it was a totally different thing than what I thought it was. Yeah. So I'm in the waiting room waiting to be called in. I'm like, man, what am I going to do with this? So I went into the audition room and pretended that I was auditioning for Canadian Idol and was just at the wrong audition. I can't sing. That's what I'm here for. This is my big break. So that was me trying to turn a negative into a positive. I was like, well, I'm not the girl here in the bikini. I'm definitely not going to get that job. Yeah. But they liked me enough based off of that they're like, well, do you want to come do some show with us?
That is amazing.
Yeah. So I ended up turning that into
Wait, what was the audition? Did you really sing?
No. I did not get that far. Okay. They stopped me before I got that far. Thank God. But I have sang in an audition before. I went for a musical. And I picked the worst song
and that's
to do for a musical. But I can sing in a certain regard, nothing like the Lilian Garcia. But I can carry a tune, and it's not going to offend anybody. But I didn't know what to do for this. And it was one of those camp musical things, whatever. And I went in to go sing
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
Really? How cruel can I be to stop you guys from hearing right there the moment where she's about to tell us what song she sang in the audition? I know it's not very nice, but I just had to do this because I have to tell you guys about something. This is so important. It is so important and so awesome. So I love to share good news. I love to share news that's going to help you guys. And so something that has helped me, if you saw my post from last week on Instagram at Lilian Garcia, you saw that I got my butcher box delivery. Did you guys see the photos of the food? Did you see that bacon? Okay, so let's talk about bacon. Let's talk about chicken. Let's talk about steaks. And let's talk about pork. It's all included in the butcher box. All right, so that's the one that I got. It's the combo meal, and you guys can sort that, or you can say, look, I just want all steaks, or I just want all chicken. But here's the thing. This is 100% grass-fed meats. This is organic chicken. This is no antibiotics, no hormones. This is the way that food is supposed to be enjoyed. And what I love about Butcher Box is that each meal can be for less than $6. Less than $6 a meal. So it's affordable. So now you're going to be able to afford it. It's going to come straight to your door for free. So yeah, free shipping. That's right. And also you're going to be able to, have fun cooking and coming up with some recipes and coming up with some things to change up your meals every night, right? Do it together. You and someone else. You and your special honey bun. if you have one. And if you don't, this is a great way, even if you're on a date or something, hey, cook for your date. So butcherbox.com/glory, butcherbox.com/glory. If you go to that, you are going to be getting a special. It's free bacon, $30 value. It's going to be free shipping, so it's going to come straight to your door. And it's also going to give you $10 off whatever purchase you have. Remember, it is a box that you decide what you want to do with it. And it's really good. Guys, I'm only going to bother you. I'm only going to interrupt the show, let's say, to tell you about something that I really think will help you. Something that is absolutely delicious. So when I say help you, I mean it's good for you. So spread the word, butcherbox.com/glory, butcherbox.com/glory. Okay, now let's find out, what song did she sing?
Now, more Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
And I went in to go sing Mercedes Benz by Janis Joplin.
What?
What a random song, right?
What?
I was really obsessed with Janis Joplin at the time. So I was like, I don't know, she sings it acoustic. I can sing it acoustic. Here we go, rockapella.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do this. Yeah, they were like, this is not what we're looking for.
Oh, man.
I was like the queen of like botching auditions, thinking what I was doing was like funny or like charming or like this will be different than what anyone else is doing.
They're just gonna like me because of my personality.
And it did pay off the one time. But so no, I did not sing in that audition, luckily. And then I started doing this show called Rippin' It and Lippin' It. And that was my first hosting show where I would interview punk bands and go cover extreme sports.
That's perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah, it was like the perfect thing. But I was also like the producer on the show. So I could pick and choose which bands I was going to see, which events we were going to go cover, and go hang out and figure out how to make a show. But it was such a great way to cut my teeth and figure out what my voice was going to be, how I wanted to come across on camera, how to do anything on camera in that regard, because I had never done it before. I had never even thought about doing it before, and then it just turned out to be a great fit. That it worked, and I've been lucky enough to consistently work as a TV host since then. There's never really been a lull, thank God. But
how long did you do that?
I did that for about a year and a half, maybe a little longer than that. Well, if I was like. Yeah, because I started at the Score when I was 23, so about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But when I was working at Byte, I was doing my own show. I would pop in and help on other shows, but I was also doing a little bit of writing for this late night show that I'm not even sure what ended up happening with that show, but it's called Late Night with Matt Chin. And it was fun being able to like be in that environment and work with people in that capacity and try to figure out how to write jokes and how to make anything come together like that, which is so funny talking about this stuff because I feel like that's such another life because I don't do anything like that anymore. But it was great training ground to just dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
To see what worked, what didn't work. And it was really nice having the satisfaction of writing something that people would laugh at without being the one to perform it and just getting to see people react to it. It was so different to see that.
Like thinking about it, talking about it now.
Yeah,
does
of
that make
course.
you,
I there's so many things that I wish that I kind of stuck with a little more, that I wish I waited out
like
a little more. Acting, big time. Yeah, I always feel like I kind of jumped the gun on. Not that I like felt that I left that, but it's not that I didn't have a choice. Of course, I had a choice. But when I started working, and I also going back to the childhood thing, my mom was always a little bit apprehensive of me getting into entertainment. I think she just thought I wasn't going to make it or it wasn't going to work out. No, it doesn't help. But I remember very specifically of her being like, all right, well, if you don't make something of yourself by the time you're 25, you've got to call it quits. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Shit, 25. Okay. But at that time, I was like 18. I'm like, that's plenty of time.
Yeah.
I can do this. No problem. So I think I was so pedal to the metal, trying to I think all I really wanted was to have my main source of income come from being an entertainer. That was a big thing for me. And I was waitressing and popping out and doing a bunch of different things. So when I signed with the Score at 23, I was like, oh, thank God. I can breathe a sigh of relief that I've done something and this is my job and it can only go up from here. But I never really wanted to work in sports per se, but at the Score I could do comedy there. And that was their whole thing. They had Jerry D there, who's a comedian, Cabby, who was there, and he did all sorts of more like comedic stuff, to Cam Stewart. There's so many guys there that it wasn't like an ESPN behind the desk news report kind of deal. And I could write my own stuff there as well. I did like a soup sports show where we would talk about pop culture and we would write all of our own stuff. Like that's something I miss big time. Yeah. I really, really miss that aspect. But anyways, going back to the acting thing, is like I feel like when I started working as a TV host, I was like, okay, cool. I can do this. I'm going to make money and life will be okay. And I don't need to feel this guilt or like as if I haven't amounted to something or that it's not going to work out or that I'm just going to be a waitress. Yeah. Because that was a line that was, kind of thrown in my direction of, and not only that, an uneducated waitress, because I have a high school education.
That car's trying to tell you that,
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
Pipe it down, Tamario.
We're just doing an interview here, that's all.
But,
like I said, guys, we're backstage. We're actually outside, but still, things happen outside. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, when I was taking acting classes, I feel like it was something that I was definitely like hitting a stride and going in the right direction with it and receiving the proper, people pointing out stuff that I was doing that they really liked and feeling like that I was in the right direction. And then when I just started working as a host, I kept doing that. But I think maybe I always thought I would go back to doing more acting stuff. And I still always feel like I would love to do that. But as age and time pass, I'm like, wait, when am I going to do that? When is that going to happen? When does that time come back again?
Well, the good thing about acting is you could do it at any age.
Any age, yeah.
Age. So that's the great thing about that.
I think I miss the thought behind it. I miss doing things on purpose and thinking out how you want to do and getting a reaction out of people. And I try to do that in my work here as much as I can, which is like even doing like backstage interviews. I do enjoy doing those because it's a little snippet of that.
Yeah.
It's just a little tiny bit of it. And every now and then I can get out a reaction to somebody or do
Which
a little
is something I noticed. So when I was doing backstage interviews, it was kind of the training behind that and the people that were doing it before and all of that was so different because it wasn't realistic.
Right.
It was you're interviewing this big guy, approach him like you're terrified. Right? And so you're scared and then they give you a look and you're like, yeah. So I go back and look at that and I go, oh my God.
What so bad.
Yeah. Of course, So then when I saw you doing yours, I was like, oh, that's so natural and so much better. And why the heck didn't we get trained like that to do it? And it was so nice. I feel like you came in at a time where it was like, let's be more real. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And less open mouth and, and run away. And,
and I think a lot of that has led to like I always see the stuff online of people thinking that the interviewers are super robotic or that we have no personality and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes that's done by design.
Yes.
That it's done on purpose. But then, every now and then when I feel like I can get away with a little something, and you do it and it works and everybody is better off for it, that like, I think it can definitely help further storylines or further somebody's character in a different way. That it helps.
The whole thing more realistic too.
It does.
The whole thing. Like it's not just about the superstar. It's the components around it too. Yeah. Right. All right. So how did you get from that to WWE?
So when I was at the Score, so I signed with the Score when I was 23, breathed sigh of relief again, great, making a living. And I was doing a couple different things there. I was doing like giveaway shows and just doing live hits and like my first time doing national television, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I was doing a bunch of different shows at the Score and it was fantastic. And then one day my boss was like, hey, they had the rights for WWE up in Toronto, or in Canada. So they're like, hey, we want to do a post-Raw show. I was like, okay, you got it. I mean, I feel like that's just like the thing.
Did you watch Raw at the time?
No.
You're like, okay, yeah.
So
what is that?
Yeah, and like, I mean, I knew WWE as a fan when I was a kid, and I grew up loving it and being able to go to shows and, go with my dad when he was at arenas, when there was WWE events going on.
Yeah.
Like, it was always such a huge, grandiose, amazing thing. But as you get older and your interests change and you're busy and you're doing stuff like...
Same thing with me.
When does anybody have time to watch TV?
Absolutely.
Even ever. But, so, the typical thing in entertainment is like you just say, yep, I can do that. You got it. So, doing my research and re-immersing myself in the product, who's who, what's what, and then going out and doing a show with Jimmy Corderas, former WWE referee.
God, which I worked with him for years.
He's lovely.
Yes.
He's so great.
Yes.
Mauro Ranallo was on the show with us.
Yes, that's right.
So, it was so cool to be able to work with so many different people and be relearning everything about WWE. And it was different there though because it was very opinion based, so we could have fun with stuff and have our opinions about what we liked, what we didn't like. But anyways, when my contract was up at the Score, I had already been in like a little bit of contact with WWE, but I had also been in contact with ESPN, and I had been kind of going back and forth. And I would like take my weekend. Sorry, Score, I hate to tell you guys this, but I would be sick one day. But really, I had flown to LA to like take a meeting, or I'd fly to New York to go do something. I was really ready for that next move to see what I was going to do. And I was getting lots of good bites on stuff. I came down. I signed with an agency, and that week. I booked there was like a Cartoon Network job that I was getting. There was a job with Big Ten Network, like stuff that was just happening really quickly. But again, I didn't have a work visa, and they were all moving super quick. So I was like, I'm not going to get my stuff done in time. It just won't happen. Which everything works out the way that it's supposed to work out. And then 1 week I went down and did my audition for ESPN for why can I not think of the name of it right now? Michelle Beadle's show.
Oh,
Sports Nation.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
guys.
yes.
Sports Nation. Drawing a blank. Went down, had a great audition. Everything was awesome. Thought that I was going there. Lo and behold, I was not. And then the next week, WWE brought me in for an audition. So it was like back to back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did they hear about you, WWE?
From the show that I was doing in Toronto, because
Gotcha.
we worked closely together. Because the Score had the rights and Rogers had the rights that we would work closely together. So I knew enough of like the vernacular we were allowed to use, how we were supposed to talk about the product. So I knew enough about that, and I had gone down to WWE headquarters with my crew from the Score to meet with everybody, to be on the same page of how they wanted the product to be talked about. And then they brought me in for my audition, which truly I didn't think it went very well.
Really?
It was not very good.
Oh, tell me.
So I had to go do, brought me down to headquarters, told me that I was going to be doing commentary with Matt Stryker.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'd never done commentary, obviously. Never even thought.
Dude, I got put in that position too.
Ooh.
It's horrible.
Oh.
It's so hard.
Oh my God.
And did they put the cans
Yep.
on you and people
The
are talking
whole
while you're
thing.
talking? Yeah, it was a nightmare for me.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was just
Did they put
talking.
did they put, like for me, they put DX, but of course I'm in the same boat. I watched as a kid, didn't watch earlier.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I'm watching DX and they're Road Dogg, all that, but I didn't know they were Road Dogg. I didn't know it was X-Pac. I didn't know who anybody was.
Right.
So, and I don't know the name of the moves.
Right.
So I'm just like, the guy in green just beat up the guy in black.
I at least knew who the characters were because we were doing updates.
That's right.
And, like,
I
I had already been having the show, so like I
Yes.
was good at that point.
Yeah, thank God.
But doing commentary in general, it's truly been something that kind of goes in one ear out the other to me sometimes, like whether I'm watching hockey or I'm watching anything, I just kind of zone out and I look at the picture.
Right.
So I was just like, I couldn't even imitate a commentator.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing. Anyways, I did that. Terrible. They gave me like a battery box. I'm like, sell this to me.
Oh, they gave me a roll of tape. All right, what did you sell it like?
God, I can't. I don't even remember. I think it was just like, this is the best battery. It'll charge your life and da-da. I don't even know. I feel like I was like, they threw so much stuff at me that day that it's just like, it's all a wash.
Right.
And I was like, what is happening? And then I went and they had me sit down in a chair and do an after show. I'm like, okay, now I'm in my element.
I got it.
Now I know what I'm doing. So I kind of closed out with that, felt much better about that. And then I think it was just maybe the next week or shortly after that, knew that I was going to be coming down and moving to New York. Well,
Wow.
Stanford, but I ended up going to New York instead.
Did you have the same, like, for me, because I didn't know, like, when my agent approached me with this, and I was just like, my God, but I'm a singer. Like, what the heck could I be doing, in wrestling, right? And at the time, he didn't even know what it was for. He didn't know it was backstage interview. He didn't know it was ring announcer. He didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So I literally said, okay, God, let me do my best. If it's meant to be, make it happen.
Yeah.
If it's not meant to be, make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, make it obvious.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
If it's meant to be, make it obvious. If it's not meant to be, make it obvious.
Yeah.
So it became obvious when they hired me. They said, we'd like to try you out for 2 to 3 months and you could quit at any time.
Great.
Is that kind of what you got? Or
No, I got, I think mine was a year contract right off, maybe a year or 2 contract right off the bat.
And that's hard because you don't know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so you're right. But I was also so excited because now I got my opportunity to come move to the States, which is what I had been dying to do.
And
I was
already
like,
living in New York.
I'm like, wow, they're going to give me a visa and I can come work and I can start to I'm going to get this life started. I'm going to start to make something of myself and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I was bouncing back and forth from New York to Toronto, and I got an email of my new name, which was going to be Renee Sterling. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know my name was going to be changed. There were so many things that I just didn't know, but I was like, all right, let's just figure this out. But I did say I didn't like the name Sterling, and luckily they let me send in some other submissions.
And what's the Young? Did you?
I did Young. Yeah, I sent them a bunch of alliterations, which truly I thought were better. I had Renee Rustin, which is Audrey Hepburn's real last name.
Oh, wow.
I had Renee Rogers, which is Prince's real last name. I had Ryan, which is my closest aunt's married name. And then I did Young from Neil Young.
From Neil Young?
Yeah.
Okay, because you were a fan.
Yeah. I was like literally flipping through my records. I was like, oh, that could be cool. Maybe this.
Yeah.
But I for sure thought that was not what they were going to take. I wanted to go Renee Ryan. But yeah,
I
they
like
didn't
Renee
want
Young.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It
Yeah.
works. I'm used to it enough now.
Do you wish, though, that you could have kept your name?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, I felt like because I had already been on TV as Renee Paquette, it does live somewhere here that I was on TV for 1 second as Renee Paquette.
Oh, really?
And Keith as it. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's not your name anymore.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I do wish that I got to keep my name, but also, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
No point in worrying about it now. It is what it is. It's fine. I'm
the good
used to
thing
it.
is that the fans know now
Yeah.
that it's the 2 names. You can put your real one on your Twitter or whatever.
I feel like I'm all over the place. I've got Paquette, Young, Good. I've got it all.
Yeah.
All of it. I respond to all.
So how'd you find the transition here when you got here? Like, what did you expect, and then what did you, or was it what you expected?
Well, I think I would say the very first thing that I noticed was just a whole different respect for how this company works. Week in, week out, this gigantic beast of a company that is so hands-on from everybody involved, from Vince down.
Yeah.
That everybody cares so much about the product here and making it as good as possible, but also changing things on the fly. Like I don't feel like you could get better training anywhere else in the world. It's like to be able to be on the air and things are changing and you've got no choice but to figure it out, sink or swim. I think it was just this newfound respect for everything from production to the trucks to producers to the in-ring talent, is like seeing this like world-class talent that's able to come together, cut out a gigantic promo, do a match, maybe have a promo after that.
Yeah.
Like, it always blows my mind if I go in to do like a post-match interview and I'm like, damn, all right.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's cool. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was just like the respect that I had for everybody that works here and the hard work everybody puts in. And not only that, but it's like everybody's on the road. People are away from their families, and you're in hotel rooms, you're in cars, you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to work out. It's just a balance of everything. So you can't help but just like, you're sympathetic to people if somebody seems like they're tired or somebody's cranky, or it's even more admirable when you see the people remain in good spirits all the time.
And now you've been here 6 years, right?
Yeah, man.
6 years.
Whew.
Flies by.
It's crazy, but it's also like, I mean, even now, what's the date today? The 20...
I don't even
whatever
know.
it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the date is. In my head, it's SummerSlam. Because it's like, we've got to get through July. My whole July is packed doing stuff that I'm thinking to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then by then, it's like, all right, then it's going to be fall, and this stuff's going to change. It's like, it's always another show, always another travel day, always something else to do, always somewhere else to be that you don't have time to even think about it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. You go, holy crap, 6 years?
I know. That's exactly
6 years.
when I was sitting at ringside sometimes, and I'd look and I go, oh my God, I've been here. Like, what? By the time I left, it was 15. I'm like, 15 years of my life? Like, where? How did it?
Yeah.
How?
Yep.
Right? And time does stop when you're home more.
Oh my God,
really
does it ever?
Does
Yep.
stop.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you go, oh,
Takes you back to like when you're like a kid and your summer vacation feels long. You're like, hell yeah.
exactly. So it feels much better for sure.
It definitely does. But yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like I adjusted here very quickly.
Yes.
I feel like I adapted to it in a certain way that
people embraced you very quickly.
Yeah, and I'm so lucky for that. I don't know why or how or
well,
I'm not
because
sure
you are
what
very
that
nice.
was.
B, it's like the atmosphere is very different now too, and people it is, I don't know. It's just something has changed.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But it does say that you could see that you cared, and then you're really good at what you do, so people immediately had a respect for you. The fans immediately embraced you too.
Yeah, they're lovely.
I mean, they're amazing.
That's great.
Tell me about what it was like to be on Total Divas.
Oh.
You're like the first non-wrestler.
Yeah,
be
that's
on
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool experience, but I think when I was in the middle of it, and even when we started, and I get the call, you're gonna be in Total Divas, and I was like, okay, because I knew I was gonna have to broach this subject with my significant other. You know, listen, if it was just me, it probably would have been a little bit different, but I also might not have been on the show if it was just me. But it was hard. It was really hard. And even now when I see the girls and they're on the road and you've got a camera in your face and you're taking these vacations that aren't really vacations, and it's exhausting. It's really a lot of work.
Yeah.
I commend them all for doing it. It's for the people that's great for. It's great for. But I think the problem that I essentially ran into was that I'm not a private person and my husband is. So it was hard. I didn't want to make him do something that he didn't want to do, and he wanted to help me with something that I was also doing. So it was just difficult. I never wanted to put him in a spot that he wasn't happy doing something, but also I couldn't just say I'm not doing it.
Right.
I didn't feel that I could say I'm not going to do it. I felt like I was in there and it was a great opportunity. And like you said, I was the first non-wrestler to do it. I don't want to turn that opportunity down.
Right.
And it's on a mainstream network, and there was a lot of pros, but there was definitely cons for our situation. And I think it was hard for us, for me at least, of like we had to very much protect the Dean Ambrose character, which I get, of course, but it made our dynamic not what it is. Because it was I felt like I was always going, he's so crazy, what am I gonna do? I feel like that was always a note, and that's like not that's not our dynamic at all. So it was hard for me to play into that. I felt like I wasn't myself on the show. So when I look back at it, I'm like, ugh, what is this? Like, I feel like I looked like this nagging girlfriend that was just like, yeah, it was just odd. It was very odd. But also like, yeah, I didn't feel like there was a ton of authenticity with what we were doing.
Right.
I think other people have that authenticity, and I think that's what makes it work. For us, it wasn't that, and it was trying to please everybody and ultimately getting nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a little too glazed across. We couldn't delve into much of our personal stuff, or like, there's no way we were going to get married on camera. Like, none of that was on the table.
Why? Because Dean didn't want it.
No, neither of us wanted it.
No.
I mean, we got married in our backyard.
I was just going to say, was that like a surprise? Like, did anybody know? Did you plan it?
We planned it in a way that like we knew that that's how we wanted to get married. We knew that we wanted to have an impromptu Vegas wedding. So yeah, we live in Vegas. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Great. But we were in Reno. I was with him on a live event, and we woke up one morning and we're like, oh, what do you want to do today? And we're like, let's go get our marriage certificate. Because we're not in Vegas. It'd probably be easier. We can just walk to this place and go get it. So we did that, and that was in like October or November.
So you were like married?
We had our certificate so that when we went to get married, we didn't have to do any paperwork after.
Okay, got it.
So we had our paperwork done on the front end instead of doing it the other way.
Yeah.
Just so that we could go
do the drive-through wedding like Hunter and Steph.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
be actually married. So that's how we wanted to do it. We thought we were going to go get married by Elvis and do that whole shticky thing. But as we were going to bed, so we were on a trip to Zion. We had gone after WrestleMania, and we were just going to go hiking and lay low. But then that's when we found out about the brand extension. So we had to boogie back home because he had to go to be at Raw. So we were home. It was like, I guess it was a Saturday. And people are probably like, how do you not know these dates? I know it was the 9th.
I'm telling you.
I know it was the 9th.
Yeah, yeah.
But we were going to bed, and I'm not gonna lie, definitely at a certain point I was like, all right, this thing's burning a hole in my pocket. When are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Let's get this going. We ended up, we were going up to bed, and I was up in bed washing my face, and he came up and had the ring, and he's like, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God, cool.
So you literally like put your makeup back on and went, no.
Yeah.
That night.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, so what happened was we're in bed, and we're like, well, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
What's the plan? So we looked up the chapel that we're like, this one's a cute little spot. It's like it's like a little like wooden looking chapel. It's at the very end of this. I guess it's the beginning of the strip, whichever end you're coming from. But it just looked quaint and cute and not as Vegas-y. So we thought we were going to go there, but they're not all 24 hours.
Oh.
And this is at 1 a.m. So we're like, crap, what are we going to do? And he had to fly out the next morning. So we went on Yelp and found a pastor, and he came to our house. It was like 90 minutes.
Oh my
of like,
God.
so I had a dress because I had a dress on standby because I knew it was going to be a let's go do this kind of thing. So I threw on that, and he was in a gray tracksuit, and he's like, do I have to change? I'm like, yes. I mean, like, I mean, if you want to, I mean, it's your wedding too. I guess do whatever you want, but
did he change?
He did. He put on like jeans and a leather jacket. His like classic cool dude look. Yeah, and then Pastor Pete came to our house. We called one of our friends to come be our witness.
Yeah.
And then we were done.
At 1 a.m. I bet she's like, what?
Oh, well, his wife answered the phone, and she thought that we were messing with them. She's like, have you guys been drinking? We're like,
right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, nothing. We know what we're doing.
Right.
She put him on the phone. He was like, all right, 250. Be there in 30 minutes. We're like, you got it.
Wow.
And we gave him a nice little tip, and $500
But then he
done
flew
and done.
out the next day.
He did, yeah.
So how was that? Like, you just got married and then he's gone.
So what was so funny was, I mean, that's just our life, so that didn't affect me. I mean, life's just always like that for us. We're always on the road, coming and going. But I went to Target the next day because I was like, well, I just want to I'm going to write him a nice card and put together a thing. But it was so funny walking through the aisles at Target and seeing his action figures, and there was a card and there was a thing of him talking, and I was like, whoa, that's my husband. How weird. So I felt obligated to buy them. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's him. I'm married to this man. Oh, what the hell? It was so funny to me to see that and see him as I'm writing this sweet card for him.
That is wild.
But yeah, so we actually had a bottle of champagne that we had left over from Zion that we didn't get to open. So we did get our pop of the champagne, and we called all of our parents. And
how did they react?
They were all just happy that we were married. Yeah, no one was like, no. I mean, of course, everyone wishes that they were there, but they know our schedule too. And it's trying to plan something and having this whole deal. And we get fussed over plenty. Yeah. We didn't feel the need to have to do something like that. And
it's
we
so
wanted
funny
to just be us.
So many people thought that immediately because of the brand extension, all of a sudden you were on one brand. You weren't
right.
You were
I was
Raw,
for a
right?
second. I was just on. Well.
No,
when he went to Raw and I was just on
SmackDown.
And then I started doing
Then
both.
you started doing both.
Yes.
But before that.
I was just on SmackDown.
Right. And so everybody immediately said, wait, I think they got married immediately so that they could be on the same brand because Vince had said, I will not separate
He did
couples.
say that.
He did.
That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, we weren't thinking that. It just the time worked out for us to do it right then and there. But yeah.
Because Vince did say, I will not separate couples, the
married couples. Yeah.
So immediately it was
maybe subconsciously we were doing that. Yeah.
How long were you guys apart then, and brand-wise, before you started merging onto Raw again?
Probably only a couple months. I don't think it was too long.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't too long. I mean, it was definitely a little annoying because we were so used to having our Sunday nights in the hotel room. He comes in, I've got some room service, and we get to hang out, unwind for a little bit, and then travel together. It's always so nice to be able to travel together, so I miss that a lot right now.
Yeah, because he's injured.
Yeah.
And how's that been for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. He's a tough dude, so he's resilient. He's tough.
And I'm sure he probably welcomed the time off because they only get time off when they get injured.
Yeah. I'm putting up. He's on like dog dad duty.
Dog
dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, him and Blue are like inseparable right now. So I have to get in there and be like, hey, I'm still the boss around here. Blue, come.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
it's been all right, the fact that you guys work together. It's
Oh, yeah.
For some people, it's too much.
No, you know, for us, I feel like we're pretty lucky in that our jobs are so different that we never end up having to step on each other's toes
Yeah.
with anything. But we also understand where the other one's coming from, whether it's
Yes.
like something went great or something didn't go so great. It's nice to have that person that's there with you that understands, much like
Yeah.
Your siblings that you're talking about that
Yeah.
live it with you and they can relate to what you're going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always been really great for us. It's nice to be able to travel together, and I feel like, especially now being on the road without him, there's not a town that I can go to without having like a little memory of us being like, oh, we went here, we did this.
How
It's
did it
like-
all start anyway? How did?
I was talking to somebody about this. I think I was talking to my Uber driver about this. I was asking him about him and his wife because he brought it up. Anyways, but I feel like just always talked. I feel like we would like connect and hang out, but also at this point, I did not know that he doesn't talk to anybody because he always just talked to me. So we would be on Voxer, this app that's like a walkie-talkie app, and we would just message each other all day long and shoot the shit, whatever, and we would always like kind of make plans to try to hang out, and then like I would renege because I was like, wait, what? Who is this guy? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as soon as we actually like hung out, he came and met me in Orlando. We were on like neutral territory. I was down there doing NXT because there's times that he said he was going to come to New York, and I'm like, you're not staying at my apartment.
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
That means a $500 hotel room.
Yeah, exactly, right? So he came to meet me in Orlando, and we hung out. We've literally just been together since.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've always been together.
How long was that you guys actually were together before you got married? Do you remember?
Oh, almost 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That was
we'll be
long.
together. I guess it was like 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll be 5 years of being together in October.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's the best.
That's
good
cool.
too.
So, for you, what do you see yourself? I mean, you've been here 6 years.
Yeah.
Is this satisfying you because you missed some of the other things, or what's in the future for Renee?
I mean, I always feel that I always want to stay ambitious. I always want to find the next thing and be busy. And I just want to use my skills to the best of their ability in whatever capacity that may be. And sometimes it means, oh, and my mic right in my armpit. My mic went in my armpit, guys. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. Yeah, whether it's learning a new skill for something to be adaptable here in WWE, or if it's, I would love to still be able to branch out and do some more stuff outside of here and find something that works together with WWE, and also something that can kind of scratch my itch as well, because, there's stuff here that I love doing, but I also want to do more. I want to be able to step into the spotlight a little bit more and get to do my own thing. And I guess I miss sort of like the artistic side of some of the stuff that I would do before.
Right.
I really miss that stuff.
It's understandable.
And it's like trying to find the different outlets to sort of satiate that, but also be true to yourself and know that you're doing the most that you can do for yourself, rather than just being complacent or happy to be working, which, listen, I'm happy for that too. There's a lot of people that would love to be in that spot, but I think it's just kind of following that true gut instinct of like, do I need to spread my wings a little bit more and find something else that I think ultimately, makes you more valuable across the board. And I think that's kind of the key as well, is finding stuff that's going to make me happy. And who knows, maybe show people here some other stuff that I can do as well.
I think that's important. It's always important to keep growing.
Yes.
Sure. It's
Oh my
always
gosh.
Not only keep growing, I mean, because you can get to a point where it just becomes so robotic that all of a sudden, and then you get stuck, right? It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, can I leave?
Yeah, and that's a funny thing that I've noticed too, is I feel like every now and then you start to think, you're like, wait, I'm good at the thing that I do, right? What do I even do? What is this thing that I do?
Yeah.
And you kind of forget, because it's almost, I guess it just becomes a second nature, and all of a sudden you're not really thinking about what you're doing, which can be a great place performance-wise sometimes, but I think it's, you need to have your heart beating that extra little pulse to keep you interested and keep you active. And I've always been, I like to use my brain for my work big time, and whatever that is. So I missed using my brain.
Yeah.
But I get to when I'm doing panels, and I do get to in different ways. But I feel like there's so much more that I would like to contribute.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But I think that's something. I mean, maybe there's other opportunities down the line. I've definitely been. I have been listening to commentary a little bit more and trying to figure out.
I was going to say, because you did do commentary and you did it at NXT. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it at NXT. I didn't love doing it when I was doing it main event, because I felt like doing a two-man booth always kind of stressed me out. That I felt like my strengths of being on commentary is like quick tidbits, quick reactions, sharp little things here and there, but like to provide more of a bulk of this match, I don't really feel like I do it justice.
Yeah.
So being in a three-man booth and being able to do a little bit more character stuff and flirt with William Regal across the table or whatever that was going to be. It stressed me out more then, but I also was so much newer in the company that I felt like, and I did this to myself, I think, but I felt like I was on such a tightrope about what I can say, what I can do, how I can behave, how I'm supposed to come across it. I was like, who am I? What is this thing that I'm delivering to people? Because this doesn't feel like it's me. I feel like I'm trying to, I just feel like I've had to like rework how I speak, and I can definitely be a little crass, or I can make fun of stuff, or in ways that doesn't work here.
Yeah.
So I think now that I've been here long enough and I've been on the panels long enough that I have such a better perspective of how everything works from a non-scripted idea. So I think if I were able to apply that again in a second round, it might be a different outcome.
I am so surprised. I mean, I see the three guys, on Raw and three guys on SmackDown. And I'm like, come on, this is the women's evolution.
Yeah, and you know what? But I feel like that time is not far off. Yeah. I really feel like it's not far off, but I also, and this is like a pretty new thing for me, but I feel like it's my spot and I want to take it. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm really excited to put in the work.
Yeah.
And try to like hone a craft in that, or be somewhat passable in it, and grow and learn and figure stuff out. But I feel like if that spot is going to open up and they want to put a female on a desk, I really want it to be me.
You need it. It needs to be you. It absolutely needs to be
really
you. I think that the fans would accept it. I think it makes sense. Corey's on two of them, so I think that there is a spot. So.
What the hell, Graves? Is he getting double paid? Then talk to him.
He probably is.
I know. Give me some of that. He does have mouths to feed.
So the podcast that you formed.
Yeah.
Is that a way for you to like?
Yes. Definitely. Well,
what's the name? The Regular Girls?
Regular Girls. Yeah, I do it with my friend Stacey McGonigal. She's a comedian in Toronto. She's absolutely fantastic. But I really felt like at times that I was getting a little bit stagnant here, that I was like, man, I really didn't want to start talking in wrestling vernacular.
Yeah.
I didn't want to start doing it, and God, I've started doing it a little bit. I've held off for so long. Now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, no, I'm doing it. But I really felt like I needed to connect with another person, not talk about wrestling, talk about real world stuff, talk about whatever, just not talk about wrestling. I thought that it was a really important muscle to flex, to not forget what that's like, or how to engage outside of here.
Yeah.
So that was really like our reason, or my reason for wanting to start it. And also Stacey and I have just always kind of wanted to collaborate on something, so it's like the perfect way to just
it makes
put
sense.
it together and do it.
It makes sense, because I don't even know if maybe I would, maybe I don't know if I would be here full time, because Chasing Glory started after I left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like still my extension into, my attraction to this business, but not in it full time anymore.
Exactly. You get to dip your toe and walk away.
Exactly.
You're not completely removed, so you can always kind of pop back in.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good setup.
Well, you've had an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I always ask this question.
Ooh.
Has your journey of chasing glory, does it look like you thought it was going to look?
No.
And in what ways would you say, is it better, worse? Is it like just different?
I always just feel like I want more. I want more. I want a little more to chew on.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to get that from me, because I feel like people get such a small amount of me, and maybe that's why it works.
No.
But I just feel like I have so much more to offer, and there's parts of me that I would love to be able to explore and put out there. And I just feel like there's so much more that I want to do. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to feel like I've been put in this box or that I'm pigeonholed as this one thing, because that's a little scary. Mm-hmm. It's a little scary to be like that and have just your one things, and all of a sudden that's the only thing that you're clinging to. And I really don't want to be that. But I think ultimately it just boils down to wanting more, wanting to be more, and wanting to just have a little more to show.
And you know that what that means is you're going to have to take a risk.
Yep.
You're going to have to take a risk.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Oh my God, it's scary.
It is really scary, but
at the same time exciting.
Yeah, it's both. And it's so funny because I feel like I've had so many conversations with other people where I'm so adamant about people taking risks and following their gut and following their heart.
It's so easy.
But as soon as it comes to me, I'm like, wait,
of course.
what?
It's
God.
Easy. Yeah. You gotta go for it. You gotta
Chase
do this.
Yeah.
Go for it. You can do it. And then it's like, what? You want me
to do that?
Me?
Do I have a safety net? What are you talking about?
How do I? Yeah.
But anytime I get like that, and I think this more polite version of Renee Young that people know, Renee Paquette is not like that. Renee Paquette takes risks and does shit, and she's a little bit more of a badass. So sometimes I need to tap into her a little bit more to remind myself what I did, how I've been able to overcome stuff and figuring stuff out, and just keep working and grinding and trying to be good and stay true and keep your talent honed and find the best outlets for that to work in. So sometimes I just need to have Renee Paquette come knock on my door a little bit.
Isn't it crazy how sometimes we forget? We get comfortable in a certain thing.
Also, I think also as you get older and you get a little more comfortable, that sometimes I'm like, man, well, I'm 32, so life is good. I make a good salary. I have a lovely husband. My life is nice. Do I really need to upheave all of this?
Yeah.
What am I upheaving it for? What am I going to get out of it? Do I need to hurry up and have a kid? Do I need to do this? Like, there's so many different things that pop into your head. I think once you get to that age where it's like, if I was 25, I'd be like, yeah, let's go do this. But at 32, it's like, okay, what's the more responsible thing to do? It's a balance between being responsible and being ambitious and being brave, I guess.
It is. But I will say, well, real quick, are you guys wanting kids?
I definitely have a little bit of baby fever lately.
You do? Oh,
it's new though.
Yeah.
It's a new feeling. Everybody relax. Everybody calm down. I feel like ever since we got married, I think because we got married so quick, they're like, oh, it must just be a shotgun wedding. It's not, you guys.
Yeah.
I've just been living my best life. So I feel like people constantly, even my mom today on the phone, she said something about, anyways. Because I had to take medication because I had an allergic reaction yesterday. So they put me on prednisone around my eyes. My eyes were a nightmare. My mom was like, if you're on birth control, that can mess it up. You might get pregnant. I'm like, Mom, take a back seat. Get out of here. Leave me alone.
Did she want a kid?
Of course. Yeah, of course she does. But I think she's just, she's in her 60s and she's like, everyone else has grandkids, so she wants it. She wants it, but then she'll play it cool and go, but we'll do whatever you want. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. So it's definitely something that I always figured that moment would come where you're like, oh yeah, all right. And I think now seeing other friends of mine, seeing Maurice with her baby, and Bree with Birdie, and I think it's just like looking at that life and being like, I think maybe I could handle that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm not in any rush.
Right.
I'm not in any rush, but I think, at some point it would be nice to do that.
Aw.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I know. I think I would just want to be like pregnant and fat.
Thank you so much for sharing your amazing story. I know amazing things are definitely rising, and you're a trailblazer. You're someone that, but you do it with such gusto and just class, and I think that's why everybody, even in the locker room, adores you.
Oh,
and
I love that.
I just love the fact that you've shared this story finally on Chasing Glory. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
Wow. I mean, did you guys just fall in love with Renee more, just like I did? I love it. I love it when people open up and really talk about their lives and what they've gone through. I can identify and I can understand more about Renee. And man, talk about why comedy means something to her. That's the thing. It's the connections that we make now hearing the whole story. It all makes sense. And it makes me want to pull for her even more. I know that acting is probably going to be something that really comes for her. And I can't wait. And I really look forward to that because, hey, it's a part of her dream. And I also think that this whole thing with commentating at WWE, I really feel like it's going to happen for her. I think it needs to happen. I think she is the one that deserves to have that and be a permanent fixture on the commentating team. That would be amazing. She's up for it, and she's great. So, Renee, good luck to you on your quest and your continued chase for glory. All right, guys, remember to follow me at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, also follow Chasing Glory Podcast. We post a lot of things there that we don't post anywhere else. We also do a lot of giveaways there. So make sure you guys follow that and subscribe, rate, review to the show. Thank you to ButcherBox. Make sure that you use that code butcherbox.com/glory that I told you all about to get delicious free food and also free shipping and discounts. I'm also on Facebook, Lilian Garcia official fan page, so you can see me there. So I'm everywhere. And YouTube is youtube.com/Lilian Garcia. Remember to spell Lilian with one L in the middle. Okay, I told you guys that I was going to be picking a winner from Apple Podcasts with the reviews. And this one's titled Blown Away. Now, the one that was blown away was me. Wait till you hear this. This is from a guy named Steve. All right, so it says, Lilian, this is every guy my age's dream, getting to hear you talk to today's superstars and superstars from my childhood. Hearing how your 15 plus years with the company was and all the great moments you shared with some of the greatest superstars to work with in the squared circle. Wrestling for me was my outlet. As a young kid, I was a chubby kid, and I used my love for wrestling and my dream of being a superstar to get myself through my junior and high school years. I'll never forget your rendition of the Star Spangled Banner after the attacks that Thursday so many years ago. He's talking about after 9/11, obviously. I'll have you know that when I was on tour in Afghanistan, the outpost that my platoon was based out of was controlled by the Afghanis, and we had to listen every morning at 7:02 to their national anthem. I got tired of it only after a few days and got myself a bullhorn, went to my computer, and recorded your rendition of our national anthem. I blasted that son of a gun on full blast every morning before the Afghans' national anthem. And it got to the point that the brass on our, I don't know what he means by this, but just bear through it. The brass on our outpost had heard about it and asked why I had played that specific version. And I told him, because Lilian Garcia was my first crush. Oh, that's so cute. And she sang this the Thursday after the attacks. And there wasn't a dry eye nor a hair that wasn't raised in that arena or any home watching. Love what you are doing, Lilian. I am glad that you are still so connected to the guys and the gals in the business. Best wishes and thank you for so many incredible years of hearing your voice. Respectfully, Steve. Wow. Thank you, Steve. What a great write-up. What a great story to think that you were in Afghanistan. And yeah, why would you be listening to our national anthem? And it must be tough that you're over there and you're listening to somebody else's national anthem when you're fighting for the freedoms here, right? So I get that. And geez, I'm so honored that you picked my national anthem to blast through those bullhorns. God, that's crazy to think that my voice was blasting through Afghanistan. I'm just blessed that I also had the opportunity to go to Afghanistan to perform for you guys. And that was something for me. I will never forget when I got to go to Iraq like 5 times and Afghanistan once. And I will never forget being in the middle of that ring and singing live the national anthem with all the soldiers around and saluting. Talk about this army brat crying. I mean, I got done and I remember going back to the barracks and just crying my eyes out because what a moment. And I know, growing up in the military with my dad, Lieutenant Colonel, the military is everything for me. And I have so much respect for soldiers. And that I got to go home. That was the thing that I was crying about. I knew that I was going to get on the plane that night and go home. And I knew that I was going to be leaving. A lot of people that, were there, that had been there already a year or close to a year, they still were going to be there. And some of them would not be coming home. And I knew that. And I just want to thank all the brave men and women out there in our military that are giving up everything so that we could have our freedoms. So you are my winner, Steve. You get a Chasing Glory t-shirt and an 8x10. Just make sure that you contact us some way to let us know how we get a hold of you. You can write, how about a comment on Chasing Glory podcast? Just let me know that you were the winner. And we'll get that over to you. So when you guys enter this contest on Apple Podcasts, just make sure that you leave, just say IG and then your handle so that I know exactly how to get a hold of you, or Twitter or something like that. Okay? For now, guys, just thank you again. Spread the word, my CG squad out there, and let's get this thing like rapid fire. In year number 2, rate, review, and subscribe to the show. All right, go out there with much peace, love, and passion. And remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. And be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.